We're going to do College Photographer of the Year, which is the, let me pull that back up again, the Chuck Scott College Photographer of the Year. The portfolio must include at least one news picture, one picture story, and pictures from at least 2 other categories. And we've sort of gone through all of these categories, or all the entries, just to make sure that they meet the requirements. But just so you guys know that there has to be a variety of pictures in these portfolios. They're limited to 15 entries, with a picture story counting as 1 entry, and a total of 30 images. We have 5 of them. So I'll start with the first and just run through the slideshow. The second one. Third one. Fourth one. And the last one. Okay. Since these are students, if you want to speak about them as we vote, I'm sure all feedback will be appreciated. You don't have to go into great detail or anything, but if there's anything that you want to point out about the portfolios, feel free to chime in as you're voting here. So we can do just keep them as thumbnails. If you need extra caption information, that sort of thing, we can do that too. But if you want to just use your paddles, and one in keeps it for this round.
Are these all separated into singles and then stories, or
They could order them however they
okay.
chose. They named them and they put them in this order.
Okay. So for this one, go back up for a second.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a couple different stories, but they just, okay.
It looks like they have one story called Charlie, the last 12 images.
These look a little bit, did you just do file name? Okay, because I was going to say those looked a little bit out of order.
They should be.
Yeah, they're by file name.
They should be by file name. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So you have thoughts in or out?
This one's out for me, but we didn't spend a lot of time on the horse story, but I do think there's some really nice images in there. And I really like how the photographer was seeing, and they seem to just be really, trying different things, but also having some moments. And I think that they're off to a good start. Just take some more photographing and honing those skills, but I think there are some nice images in that horse story, especially.
Okay. So we'll say that one had 3 outs.
And this one's in for me, for sure. I mean, there's one story that we know we really like. Another one that, you know, we did like a lot of the images in, and the singles are a little rough, but they're nicer. I mean, they're nicely photographed for the most part. I don't know if it's going to be number one, but it's in for me for now.
I mean, I'm seeing 3 singles, right? Or unless I'm no, a little bit more.
I
Never
think
mind.
there's 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2 more.
these last 5.
Gotcha.
Okay, we'll keep that one in.
Can I just get a caption on one of these?
Sure.
Up at the top, it's like the first story of the midwife.
This second picture here.
No, the first photograph in the midwife story. So it's number 5.
Yep.
I just want to see the caption.
Yeah. 1 second.
If it's a lot of trouble, it's not, don't worry about it. I was just trying to figure out what was in, oh, it's like a little monkey. I'm trying to figure out what was in the pouch.
Stuffed animal.
I think it's the
To bring
monkey.
humor.
Okay. I was just trying to see it before. It doesn't look like a child or an animal.
I think it's the caption said stuffed animal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in another photograph too. That's what I was just wondering. Another one where, I mean, this one's out for me as well, but that, you know, I think that the photographer is seeing some really nice moments and compositions, and may, you know, just needs some time to work on technical skills as well. I think especially the midwife story, although I know that's difficult to photograph in that kind of light, definitely has some technical issues. And the singles definitely will, you know, need to grow as the photographer grows. But I think there's, you know, a lot of potential here, seeing how they see moments and think about things.
I don't know if the whole portfolio is there, but there's some really, really strong images that I think, like, if they focus on the strengths of those images and what they're going after with that, then they'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, I think in this instance, like they photographed the home birth, or can they go back and kind of see what the family's up to now? I mean, that could kind of be a cool, like, okay, it was a home birth. How are they dealing with COVID and raising this child now? How old is the kid now? That kind of thing. I mean, it's cool to be able to photograph like a beginning like that. But if they can take advantage of following up with the family, to kind of further evolve that story.
I think the Chester Hill story could be developed further too. Like, I want to know more about Chester Hill. I think there's some really strong photographs in there. If it's kept working on, it could be more well rounded out at some point moving forward.
Were there any ends to keep this for now? Hey,
I don't think we're
Okay.
doing just one.
Just one to keep it. Yeah.
But is it just one?
You're sorry, yeah, that's why I
Award.
was asking one
No.
award.
There has to be at least one. So if you
Okay.
want to award second, third, fourth, you're free to as well. But as long as it's just one.
I don't think I'd axe it entirely.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking we just had one. So now I know. I'm sure you told us, but I
All the portfolios are the same. You just have to at least award one.
got it.
Okay. Hold that one in for now.
We read a caption on the beginning of the Erica story.
Yeah, I think it starts here. Story summary. A crowd of over 3,000 gather in downtown Louisville before slowly walking to Jefferson Square Park. Many remain peaceful while others gather around the Louisville courthouse. Some yell, others break windows, others tear down a Kentucky state flag from a pole, throw it on the ground and burn it. Do you need the whole? I can keep going if you want.
Can you just kind of go through them, the photos?
Sure.
Or actually go down to the bottom of that caption. Okay. Oh, who will survive in America? Okay, I can see the whole.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, it just said Erica, so I was like,
Gotcha.
so this is from multiple like police shootings kind of things. Okay. Can you scroll down to the bottom? Can you go through the boxing story? You can just kind of give them a few seconds apiece. Okay.
So let's see if there was a main description on that first one.
Okay, can we go back to the, okay, so there are, okay, the singles are just at the top, right?
Those appear to be the singles.
So there are
Um,
photos from kind of all over, right? Because one is, I was seeing some of the captions ones, you know, Atlanta, the Wendy's, some was Louisville, in response to Breonna Taylor. I'm not sure where else, but I guess just as like advice for a young photographer, like I remember going to Ferguson when I was in college, and I think like if you're going out there when stuff is happening and things are on fire, go back like when stuff isn't. Because I went back 3 times following that, like when there was unrest, and the trips that I took after, talking to people, talking about the trauma from those events and the ongoing problems in the community when, you know, the national media left and when stuff is getting back to normal, so to speak. That, I guess that would just be my unsolicited 2 cents, is to not just go when things are, you know, and I'm not saying that's what this photographer is doing, but just to, that would be my advice, to go back and, you know, talk to the people that you photographed and, you know, learn. And
that's a good suggestion. I mean, obviously it's like tough for people to do that at the moment.
very,
But you know, that doesn't mean like in a year you can't go back and do that kind of stuff. You know, I photographed a lot of boxing, so I just wanted to comment on, you know, this story is obviously not very fleshed out. A lot of it is just this kid kind of working out and stuff. But you know, photographing a boxer and just like their individual lives and stuff can be super fascinating. So I would, you know, encourage this person to keep working on this and keep following this kid around. You never know what, you know, what can happen if he could become successful or whatever. But just want to see a little bit more about his like personal life. And you know, it said he grew up in a tough environment or something like that. So it's like we kind of want to see what that's like outside of his training and stuff like that. And then I would also say, like, you know, boxing gyms can be very like dark places to photograph, so kind of work on some technical stuff in regards to like getting things in focus and lighting and stuff like that. And I feel like, and I'm, you know, can't speak for everyone, especially college photographer, but you know, I feel like technology has advanced enough that you can at least try to bump the ISO to kind of get things in focus. And you know, if things turn out grainy, that's just kind of, that's can be kind of a cool characteristic of like, you know, sort of homegrown boxing gyms and stuff like that. So
embrace the grain.
Embrace the grain. So should we just keep this for now and kind of check out the last one, y'all?
Yep.
My comments on this one are probably just, you know, if you go to the bottom, I remember looking at this story before, and you know, if you go to a vigil or something like this, I mean, 5 photos from the same vigil doesn't doesn't really make a photo story in a portfolio. It doesn't mean you can't include like 2 or 3 if they're really strong or whatever. But I think I remember reading in one of these captions that this family had a vigil every day for 16 days or something like that. So I don't know if these photos are from different days, but if the photographer was able to go back to each of those vigils and kind of find something different, that could have been cool. But it just seems like looking at the first 2 pictures that I mean, I'm not sure, they're very similar and they may be on different days, but if you spent more time with this, otherwise if it was just one night from a vigil, I would just pick your strongest image and include that in a portfolio. I wouldn't try to like make a story out of it necessarily, unless you really, really think all the photos are necessary to kind of tell the whole thing. What do you guys think?
In regards to that story specifically,
Yeah,
or
just
that
in that
collection
story
of images?
that the 1, 2, 3, 4, the
Yeah.
5 images that seem to be from the same
I mean,
thing.
when I look at that, it's I want to know what's not in like public view. I want to know before or after, because I feel like all those photos, while the collection might be focusing on, you know, their efforts to hold a vigil X amount of times, there's moments before or after.
Yeah,
I don't really know or feel who like I'm intended to empathize with in the pictures specifically. Like it's not totally clear, but
yeah, and then I would say you know, since we're talking about college photographer, I mean, I would just you know, take advice from your peers and editors about how to progress in your talent. I mean, I like a lot of these images. You know, the story about I don't know, the grave site keeper guy.
historian guy type.
Yeah, it's okay, but it's kind of, it's also just seems kind of like a one day thing, and like you could probably spend more time with that. And then you know, I think some of the singles in this one are a little redundant too, like the first like few
Mhm.
election ones they're not particularly strong. And you know, I know it can be very tempting to be like, you went to like political rally and it was a big deal, you want to include a photo from that, but you know, these 3 photos are not that compelling to me, and they're redundant to start a portfolio this way. And so anybody else chime in here? I feel like I'm talking a lot. Lisa, what's on your mind?
I'm wondering if is it hard for y'all to like click on some of the photos so we can see them bigger as we talk about them, or is that
Yeah, could you,
not
if we're
possible?
just like mentioning stories and stuff, could you just like pop them up?
Yeah, just kind of like flip through them, or if
Yeah.
that's too difficult to do technically, don't worry about it.
Well,
But
just tell it's a few clicks, but it's not a problem.
Let's
at
just,
all.
can you just go through, start at the beginning, go through all these, and we can just kind of share our thoughts. You don't have to do a slideshow, you can just kind of like a couple seconds for each.
or just kind of whenever we're talking about a story,
Yeah.
like maybe
Yeah,
to be able
exactly.
to see it a
So-
little bigger, because I personally can't see the content that small.
Yeah, so I feel like the first 3 of this are kind of redundant. They're like clearly from all the same, or the same, right? They're all from the same thing. And those 2 are pretty like pedestrian, pretty like not a lot going on kind of thing. I mean, I don't know, that's fine, but it's a little too like, I don't know. It's weird. And like this one is hang on.
So especially if anything's really dependent on words, I
Yeah,
think the words need to make a lot of sense with the photograph, and they need to be very powerful, because like I was saying earlier, then the minute we have to read something, we are doing something other than having just a pure visual reaction, which I think a lot of what we do when we do view pictures, and especially in a contest when we're just seeing them very quickly and going like very much on our gut or visceral reaction to an image, like not to pick on this one image, but just for any of them that just are dependent more on writing.
No, I agree. This is kind of like a random, like it's a person with a tattoo, but you know, there's really no context here. It could maybe be part of a photo story, but
Or it doesn't really
it doesn't really
anything else in the frame.
yeah, it doesn't
Right.
really like stand by itself. So
What I do like about this one, it is seeing other aspects of his life. You know, the moment at home with his wife or girlfriend or whoever that is in the photo. You know, that's the no. Yeah, sorry. It's okay. You can, his wife, you could go forward. I was wanting to stop on a different one, the one with the really nice light, kind of silhouetted.
Yeah.
I mean, for this one, I kind of want to know like why we should care about this guy. I mean, he has an interesting job, but like what is he doing that is I don't know, a little more unique or something. Like this is another story that like maybe it's worth like pursuing it a little more or something.
Or just in a different direction too. Like
Yeah.
I feel like if he's, where is he? Athens, Ohio, like the descendants of the people who's researching it, or the, you know, I feel like there's a lot of different avenues to go down other than the daily life
Mhm.
of a historian or archivist, or, you know.
And I think there are a couple good singles in here, but some of them are, I mean, like this one, for example, or I don't know, just the one of the band person.
Mhm.
Like this is really just not a very interesting image at all. There's like it's kind of an in-between moment, and there's something really very interesting about it. So I would I would, you know, nix this from your portfolio kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like this is probably like pretty early in this person's photojournalism career. And like, I just want to applaud them for putting a portfolio together and really trying to think about how the images go together. And it's just going to take time and spending more time and finding people that will really let you into their lives. I mean, the cemetery has some interesting aspects to it, but there may not be a ton more visual potential with him specifically. And like, so maybe it's the descendants or something, but it's just, but I think it's a good start, and there's some good, you know, getting him cycling. Like, is that necessarily a great photo? No, but I'm really glad that the photographer was there and photographed it and tried to make photos that show who he is outside of his job.
Yeah, for sure. I hope us spending a little bit more time with the college portfolios. I hope either they're listening or they go back and watch the video and you know, take our feedback, and you know, don't feel bad if we didn't like something, but because we're not being mean here, we're trying to encourage people.
Trial and error, figuring
Yeah,
out which
and you
pictures
know,
you do
yeah.
take and which ones that you don't. And
So not to move on too quickly here, but if you want to talk about what you like out of these four. or which one rises above?
The story in this one is
This first one?
actually the first two, the stories, and this one especially though, but also while the home birth has some kind of could be edited down, could be expanded in a different way, I think.
Can you go to the
Access
first one again real quick? So that was the Waterman,
Nice. Yeah.
and then okay, so I mean, I like this one a lot. I think the singles are
Yeah.
kind of weak in this portfolio. So I think somebody else just said, you know, keep working on the singles part of it. But those stories, I mean, both those stories are pretty good. Obviously, we really liked the Waterman one. Can you click on the next tab?
Yep.
And scroll down. Were all the singles at the top of this one? Yeah. Okay. I think this one as a whole is a little bit less strong, and also this only has 4 singles in it, so it's also, I feel, a little bit lacking in just some variety.
Yeah, I think if this photographer's putting together a portfolio, especially applying for internships or first jobs or something, like the singles will be or should be replaced pretty quickly. So, which is going to take just photographing more and more and putting yourself in positions in order to photograph and just keep working on it.
And then 3. Can we look through the singles at the top of this one?
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong photo. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's the strongest for sure in the singles.
This one, not so much. It's also like not quite in focus.
Yeah, I'd rather either be like really tight on her face
Yeah.
or have more of the scene, because I feel like
Yeah.
the adult woman is cropped really awkwardly. So I find that distracting too. I like the mood in this one quite a bit. So I think like
too.
I'm starting to feel more of the photographer here.
Yeah.
And I think like the overall feeling I get is kind of an unfocused feeling from the photographer. Like I'm not sure exactly like where they are, what they're doing in terms of their photography, in terms of what they're trying to say, what they're thinking about. And I mean, obviously there's a ton of potential and there's some really incredible images in here. And another that's just going to take work and editing, probably a lot more learning about the editing process.
I think this as a portfolio is pretty strong. This is the boxing one too, right? I think, the boxing story is kind of a little bit redundant, but I don't know, as a whole, like overall, what do you guys think about this as maybe moving it up over those other two? Or at least moving it up for now. Or should we just look at the last one first?
Too
Oh,
late.
we
I
already
moved
looked at, wait,
it.
well, we already
We-
looked at that one. Oh,
yeah.
we did it. Did we do that out of order a little bit? Oh, yeah, sorry. We did a little bit out of order. Sorry.
Yeah, we started back at the top and I was just clicking through. So they're not really in an order. It's just,
Yeah. So for me, it's between the one in the first place and the one in the second place right now.
Oh, that's tough.
And I would say the last one is, could lose this one.
Yeah, I think we could say keep working on your stuff, but I think we could lose this one. Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, do we, I mean, I know we've been, I don't know. I don't want to not award for second, third, but I'm not sure the third one is quite there yet as far as portfolio.
Okay, can we do a quick slideshow for all three and then we'll try to really make a decision?
Okay.
promise to make a decision. We will
That's going to get
definitely
us
do that.
there.
Okay, that's the first one. Second one. And the third one.
Okay, I'm ready. This one's for, oh, sorry. We still going?
Yeah.
First for me is the fishing. Second, the protests and boxer, and third is that one.
Yep, I'm gonna second that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're pretty
Anything?
lucky here in Ohio with some good photography
Yeah.
programs.
Definitely.
So there's a lot of good students here. So that was very helpful, I'm sure, to everybody that entered. So thank you for spending a little extra time.